What's up, y'all? It's your boy JTMM, aka Just 10 More Minutes, aka the Freaking 10. Back on this Free for All Friday, and this one is a band that I covered before, Whiskey Myers, was Bury My Bones, about a soldier, two brother soldiers. One didn't make it home, and which was just an amazing song. Loved it. So this is one that came from a request from that, called Broken Window Serenade. This was released in 2011, so it's an older song, but based off the comments, it's a really powerful song. So I'm very curious to hear it. So with that being said, there's only one thing left to do. Let's switch it up and check it out.
Song's called Broken Window Serenade. I wrote this song about a guy who was in love with a girl growing up and kind of just goes through her life and the stuff she had to deal with, and she actually ends up dying of amphetamine abuse, and it kind of explains the area where we're from really good. So here it is. A couple of pretty flies is what I brought to you. I saw you through a broken window with a different point of view. You had signs of depression from a long line of sin, and your face tells a story about the places you have been. I love you so. Thought you should know. And them muddy waters flowing as you take my hand past the creek down by the hollow, through your daddy's land. And I could buy you a diamond, but I cannot change the world, 'cause I ain't got no money. Be my girl. I thought you should know.
Okay. This is one where he explains it right up front, right? About this girl and this guy that falls in love with her, and as he said, she ends up dying of amphetamine use. Which is a huge problem these days. And the way he's telling this story is just, it's captivating. A couple of pretty flowers is what I brought to you. I saw you through a broken window with a different point of view. You had signs of depression from a long line of sin, and your face tells a story about the places you have been. I love you so. I thought you should know. And that muddy water's flowing as you take my hand past the creek down by the holler through your daddy's land. I could buy you a diamond, but I cannot change your world, 'cause I ain't got no money. You'll never be my girl. No, no. I thought you should know. Man, this is good. And this is different than what I normally review, right? I mean, but country music, as I explained in the video where I kind of went through my musical journey, country music is kind of the first music that I listened to with my parents in the car every Sunday, going to church, or anywhere we went, anytime, with the radio on. So it resonates with me quite a bit. I love the simple storytelling that country music does. And this is brilliant. Let's keep going.
You was gonna be a singer, a big movie star, but you can't catch no breaks, baby, and Hollywood is hard. Now you work down at the timeout off of 155, and you're dancing for your dollars, just trying to stay alive. It hurts should know. And you feed your addiction with your crystal meth, and I plead for your life as it takes you to your death. You make your deal with the devil as your looks begin to fade. I saw you laughing through the tears as you slowly slipped away. I watched you go. Thought you should know. Yeah, I watched you go. Thought you should know. That cold rain is pouring, they lay you in the grave, and I can barely recognize you in your fragile state. No more signs of depression from a long time ago. I throw in a pretty flyer as he slowly laid you low. It was a rose. I thought you should know, and that was a rose. I thought you should know.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop it there. Here's the brilliance of a simple song like this, right? A dude with his guitar, his harmonica, and a mic, right? With an accompanying guitar. It really, allows you to listen to the lyrics, right? The music's not overpowering it. It's really about the lyrics itself. And the story that he's telling, unfortunately, it's one that we hear all the time, of how, people have aspiring dreams when they go to Hollywood, or to New York City, whatever big city it might be, to go after and chase their dreams. And they end up, waiting tables, or in this instance, talking about her dancing or becoming a stripper, to try to chase that dream. And unfortunately, in her case, goes through addiction and ultimately leads to her death. But we hear about that so many times, and it's so scary and it's so sad. And as he tells this story, again, you're just kind of enthralled by his words and what story he's telling. This is music at its simply at its finest. And I don't mean it in that it's a simple song. It's a simple presentation, right? Background music, accompanying guitar, occasional harmonica, but mainly it's just him singing. And he follows a lot of the same, vocal patterns of how he's presenting the song. But in this instance, that's exactly what should be done, because you don't want to throw in all of these different weird vocals. Let the story be the focus of the music and of the song. Love it. And so he says, now you work, excuse me, you was gonna be a singer or a movie star, but you can't catch no breaks, baby, and Hollywood is hard. Now you work down at the timeout off 155, and you're dancing for your dollar just trying to stay alive. It hurts me so, I thought you should know. So, right, he's telling the story about how he saw this girl when they were younger. He fell in love with her. They walked through her daddy's land. Now she's working, now she wants to go off and go after her dreams, right? And now she's being a stripper, trying to make it. And he's just watching her start to fade. You feed your addiction with your crystal meth as I plead for your life as it takes you to your death. You make your deal with the devil as your looks begin to fade. I saw you laughing through the tears as you slowly slipped away. I watched you go. I thought you should know. Yeah, I watched you go. I thought you should know. That cold rain is pouring as they lay you in a grave. I can barely recognize you in your fragile state. No more signs of depression from a long time ago. I throw a pretty flower as they slowly laid you low. It was a rose. I thought you should know. It was a rose. I thought you should know. Let's keep going.
A couple of pretty flies is what I brought to you. I saw you through a broken window with a different point of view.
All right. A couple of pretty flowers is what I brought to you. I saw you through a broken window with a different point of view. This is a brilliant song. And, you know, I appreciate talent, right? Playing the guitar and harmonica at the same time and two different melodies in your head and playing those two different instruments just boggles my mind. I wish I could just have that talent. This song fascinates me in the sense because, you know, again, it's not a genre I generally cover, but there's a lot of artists, country artists that I follow, more independent than mainstream. I don't like today's mainstream country at all. I like the old school, and this is just simple. And the lyrics just tell this powerful story, and that's what music is all about, right? Telling a story through singing and really just making people think and feel. And that's exactly what this does. This tells it's not a happy story, you know, by any means, but it's a story that unfortunately rings true a lot to in these days and at that time. As he said at the beginning. And yeah, wow. I really enjoyed this one. Really, really did. Let's switch it up. I'll give you my final thought. You know, even if in its simplest form, this song delivered exactly what I look for when I listen to something on here. And that's how they get their point across, right? The changes. And even then, even with the changes, right? When you saw kind of the accompanying guitarist getting ready to come in, and you're like, okay, when you're doing a song like this, how is he going to overpower? Is it going to come through too much? But the way they did it was perfect because it was kind of an accompanying thing, you know, kind of in the background. And, you know, you could just kind of heard the first few notes as your ears adjusted to translating, okay, what am I hearing? And then the solo, which was just fantastic. But it was perfectly done. The story that this tells, as I just said a few minutes ago, is unfortunately what we hear a lot of these days, right? If I hear about them all the time because unfortunately, and it's in the worst way, it's a lot of the times they fall victim to crime. You know, in every, I love true crime. I love, you know, serial killers and stuff like that and learning the psychology of it. I love psychology. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of their victims are prostitutes or women of the night, whatever you want to call them. And you always hear the story about how they came to this big city to chase their dreams and unfortunately fell into addiction. And I mean, he's telling this story, and that's the first thing that came through to me was, you know, just this life that goes from a bright, happy future to sadness and ultimately death. And unfortunately, it's something that just happens way too often these days, with the drug addiction in this country, which is very sad. But this song was fantastic. Music in its simplest form, beautiful, well done. So, with that being said, let me give some shameless plugs. If you liked the video, leave me a comment, hit that like button, and if you like the content I'm putting out, hit that subscribe button. As we continue to grow this community, that's going to close it out for this Friday's Free for All Friday. I'm thinking about doing a bonus video for today, but if not, have a great weekend. And always remember, my friends, if someone asks you to stop what you're doing, don't ask for 1, don't ask for 2, and certainly don't ask for 5. If someone asks you to stop what you're doing, always ask for just 10 more minutes. I'm JTMM. Enjoy your weekend. I'm out.